Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call this City of Shelton Commission meeting to order. And the first item is that we stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for attending tonight. It's always encouraging to see a large group of people. We're going to take item B on the agenda and concerning the Police Employees of the Year presentation. And we're going to place that when everybody that's supposed to be here comes in the room. So we'll add it a little farther down the agenda. The next item, what we'd like to do is to have our weekly commission reports on what we're planning to do this week. And Commissioner Moore.
Okay. Find my message. Okay, I just ran over here from the Mason Transit Authority Board meeting. So I had that today as well as this. Tomorrow, I have a briefing. And I also am meeting with former City Commissioner John Cannell. And on Thursday, I have a Downtown Visioning Steering Committee meeting. On Friday, I have a Peninsula Regional Transportation Planning Organization meeting in by Squam at Jamestown's Club.
Thank you very much. Commissioner McDowell.
Tomorrow I get to have the honor of having soup with the superintendent. Each month he has soup with different people around town, and it's a lunch with him, and it's usually parents or grandparents or people that are involved in the school, volunteers or teachers and people in the community that he calls on. So he's invited me with some other people to have soup with the super tomorrow. So I'm excited. Ribbon cutting for the new Shelton Martial Arts Studio at 4:30. Thursday, my weekly briefing with Dave and Mason County Chamber of Commerce members lunch. And on Friday, the EDC Economic Development Council annual luncheon at Alderbrook. So.
Thank you. Tomorrow morning I will be attending a Criminal Justice Board meeting. And in the afternoon I'll also be attending that ribbon cutting for the new martial arts establishment on Cota. On Thursday I will be at a chamber luncheon. And on Thursday night, I will be attending a ROTC event, Navy ROTC event at the high school mini dome. On Friday, I will also be attending the annual Economic Development Council lunch. And that concludes our weekly commission reports. Next is an opportunity for general public comment. We have two of those opportunities in each commission meeting, and this is the first one. And so if we have somebody who'd like to speak, could you please read their name?
Marilyn Vogler.
Good evening, Commissioners, and thank you. One of my first impressions of Washington State as I drove across the Idaho border when I was moving here was a roadside sign that said, "Litter and it will hurt." Well, obviously, it's not hurting enough. If you've driven to Belfair lately, you may have noticed that Highway 3 is absolutely disgusting. We do have, though, a local grassroots effort that you've probably read about in the paper. It's been all over Facebook. Kevin Schmelzlin and a group of dedicated volunteers have spent 2 Saturdays picking up garbage and litter. But I want to remind you that there are limits to what you can expect of volunteers. We can't expect this group to spend every Saturday from now until the city is completely clean picking up garbage and, by the way, paying tipping fees for this out of their own pockets. To date, if I add my numbers right, they've picked up almost 3 tons of garbage in their 2 Saturdays. So I'd like to request that the City Commission claim the responsibility for keeping our city and its vicinity clean. One of the things that we need to do is to persuade the county to make garbage fees mandatory. I think a big part of the problem is that they're not, and so people dump garbage wherever they will. But another part of the effort, as I said, is accepting responsibility. It can be persuading the people who live here to be cleaner. I know you gave an award to, or recognition to, Ron Pinnell for his work in cleaning up. We don't have a very active Adopt a Highway program. I would like to see you encourage that. You might encourage the merchants to sweep their sidewalks every morning and put what they sweep in the garbage. You might put more trash receptacles downtown. You might follow through with the citywide cleanup that's been on your work plan now for a couple of years but never seems to get done. More drastic, I suppose, is that it could be paid work crews or paid community service supervised crews. One of the things you could do is make the community service officer full-time so that there would be more time for her to have crews out picking up garbage. You might even hire a second community service officer to help. But one way or another, if you have to raise the garbage rates to pay for it, the city needs to accept the responsibility for keeping our roadsides and our trails, our parks, our green spaces, and public spaces free of litter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. There have been 2 proposals that have been considered by the city which have never been mentioned in any city meeting or any announcement. One was the consolidation of contaminated soil and sediment from Goose Lake at the former C Street landfill. This is truly such a stupid idea. It's hard to comprehend that any responsible thinking city official would even try to suggest it. The second is a notice in the journal concerning the use of treated municipal reclaimed water from the Shelton Water Reclaim Facility to recharge groundwater. Now, I don't know why the public isn't being informed of what's going on. Why wasn't this brought before our public scrutiny? This is not in conformity with the Growth Management Act mandates for public participation or the RCW Chapter 4230 Open Public Meeting Act and 42.30.010, which says, the legislature finds and declares that all public commissions, boards, councils, committees, subcommittees, departments, divisions, offices, and all other public agencies of this state and subdivisions thereof exist to aid in the conduct of the people's business. It is the intent of this chapter that their actions be taken openly and that their deliberation be conducted openly. The people of this state do not yield their sovereignty to the agencies which serve them. The people, in delegating authority, do not give their public servants the right to decide what is good for the people to know and what is not good for them to know. The people insist on remaining informed that they may retain control over the instruments they have created. And I think this is very, very important. Public participation and the public's right to know what's going on is a given right, but it's not being enforced. And I submit this to public record.
Thank you. Is there anybody else signed in?
Renfro?
Lisa? Just state your name for the record, please.
Lisa Renfro. The first thing I was wondering is the special events calendar for 2016. I was Googling and I didn't see it. I don't know if I'm doing it correctly, and I scrolled down and I didn't see anything for 2016 on that website. I had a question regarding the business for the impact fees. And to my understanding, it's a case-by-case basis that the person who's applying for the permit, who subjected to the impact fees, can request that mitigation, depending on how many years it takes to build, how much excise tax they paid, because I think it's based upon capital facilities, what's excise taxes being paid by its land before it's incorporated to a usable property. So if someone took 6 years to build, they may not be subjected to impact fees. That's what I was told by June Warden 20 years ago. I don't know what it is now. So depends on what type of home, how big, what type of impact it has or needed. Wouldn't it be better to have a mitigation process that is applied, like application, so that they can do that after the fact, instead of giving everyone 70% discount to break even? Then you may get some, or it would counterbalance and offset each other. I don't know how they do it now. That was like 20 years ago. Okay.
Thank you, Lisa.
Kevin Smelslin.
I call him Kevin, that's what I call him. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, good evening. Yes, my name is Kevin Schmelzlin, and I am here today to speak about an issue that I brought up last week at the commission meeting about the amount of trash that is seen and experienced in this town. It's quite frankly unacceptable for a city of our size or any size to have so much broken glass around. I can walk I can go outside and walk 20 steps, and I can guarantee you I'll find a piece of broken glass. So that's a safety concern. There's just a lot of trash in general in this town, and I do not see that being fixed by anyone other than community members. And I don't think that's because anything bad or nefarious is happening, but I think that we are in a town that does not have enough resources to focus on expansion and development while also protecting what we already have in our city at the same time. And after I made my comments at last week's meeting, I noticed the next 30 minutes was spent talking about expansion and development as opposed to protecting our city, and not just expanding and developing, but doing so at a highly discounted rate, because not enough businesses, not enough people are willing to come to this town if they have to pay a market price, really. We have to discount 85% of these taxes in order to attract businesses, attract workers, attract people who want to live here. And I don't think that's the way it should be. I think the key is to protect and build up the city that we have. You look at the trash, you look at the broken glass, you look at all the storefronts downtown that are vacant. You look at our homeless population, which has a big spotlight on it right in downtown. I hear people talking about not feeling safe walking downtown, not feeling safe being downtown, even in the daytime or at nighttime. And, I understand that things are in the works and that, nothing happens overnight. But I do not believe that we can continue to focus on expanding and getting more development in. I don't think we should be focusing on trying to get 5 new businesses in town. I think we should be focusing on trying to protect the businesses we already have in town. I don't think we should be focusing on how many houses can we get built, but how many people can we keep from losing their houses? How many people can we help from losing their jobs? And that should be where the focus is, because there's not enough money in this town. There's not enough staff time in this town to focus on expansion and development and on building up the city that we already have, making Shelton great, which is what we should be doing. And that is what's going to allow us to bring in businesses, bring in families, and have them pay what everyone else is paying, and not have to give them this bargain basement discount to do so. Thank you.
Kevin, can I talk to you for a second?
Absolutely.
Okay. I do greatly appreciate. I mean, when you talked about getting volunteers to help clean up the city, I greatly appreciate that. And I've been mayor for 4 years, and we are a city that has had a real economic hardship placed upon it. I think everybody knows that. And we as a commission, and me as a mayor, is always thinking of ways to improve the financial condition. And in all of the issues and all the things that happen in the city, this is something that is important. But I will be honest with you, is something that kind of falls by the wayside when it comes to me personally, thinking a lot about it. You've opened my eyes to that. And together, I would like to continue the dialogue and to look at, I do know there are some things in your statement, some things, that you might not know what's really going on with cleaning crews or with public works or with, some areas may look real bad, but I do know that we have different committees and groups and people. They have, sometimes the Kiwanis actually says, let's take this street and let's clean this street up and let's do it. But first, before any of us are involved in it, a property owner has a responsibility to take care of their property. And I think all of us should, that's what it first is. If every property owner took care of their property and got rid of their own garbage, for example, wouldn't that push us many, many, many miles, make it a lot easier for the rest of us to come and do our work? And so those are just my thoughts about it, and I want to work together with you on this, and I greatly appreciate the volunteer work. And I will say that I have had many conversations with our administrator about one of our programs is abating the vacant homes, where we take a home that is the owner would refuse to take care of. And we have a process where we actually come and we have to close that home down or burn the home down and take and clean that whole thing up. So I don't know if you're familiar with that program, but it has a real success to it. I think 2 years ago we had 10 on a list, and about 8 or 9 of them actually it all got taken care of by himself, and it only left about 2 more that we had to kind of go a little bit farther. So, and that program is an ongoing, continuing program. And I'd love to, not on company time here, but I'd love to sit down and talk to you more and see if we can't, and talk more about what we can do to help make our city a more beautiful place. Okay?
I would absolutely love to see
and we
this.
usually don't have this, but you have stepped up and you have done something that I think deserves an extra amount of time from this commission to thank you for that effort and to know we're all speaking the same language, and that we need to probably just take a look and see what we're doing, because again, like I said, we are struggling for dollars to keep the city going. So I just say that it's a conversation that I want to continue to have.
I would absolutely love to have that conversation with you. I think the city's leadership being involved in this effort is huge, and I do understand that there's already things being done, but I think if you're asking about, what about the individual property owners, yes, there's a lot of individual properties have a lot of trash on them, but when these individual property owners look at the streets and see trash all up and down the streets, and look at the sidewalks and see trash and broken glass and needles up and down the sidewalk, why should I take the effort, myself to clean up my house when nobody else is doing anything, when the city is not doing anything? And that, regardless of any commissions or processes that are taking place, it seems clear that people think that this town is a dump.
Yeah.
And that
we want to
change.
change that. We want to change that. Okay.
Thank you.
We will talk, okay?
Absolutely.
You know where I
I
live.
just would like to say one
Sure.
thing really quickly, too, and I'll make it quicker. I have had conversations with staff and with people in our community, and Kevin is very much illustrating what I totally believe the solution is, and it's to change our culture about what we expect in our city. And as we change our culture and we expect cleaner roads, cleaner yards, cleaner houses, a cleaner community with more involvement, this is a catalyst, which is beginning that. And you can see it in the media and in social media, and I think it's awesome. And I do believe that we can all work together, make it better, and it's the beginning of a certain type of revolution in Shelton. And thank you very much.
Can I say something?
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you. I just appreciate you so much doing this, taking this on. I kind of find out that it is a social issue, and I would love, I don't know how we would do it, put a bug in the superintendent's ear, but I would like some sort of program to be set up teaching children about cleanup. Because if their parents aren't cleaning up, they don't really care. But if they learn in school the importance of keeping the community clean, they're going to go a long ways, and they're going to, shame their parents maybe into keeping the yards, their houses clean. So like I said, I'm not sure how it would happen, but I think it could start in the schools with the little tiny tykes learning to clean up garbage when they see it.
Can I get like 20 seconds more?
Yeah.
That kind of comment
All right.
Okay, thank you. Yes, absolutely. And actually, not this Saturday, which we are having to clean up this Saturday as well at 9:30 a.m. We're still getting the exact location figured out. We're trying to have as much impact as possible. But February 27th, we are actually working with a Girl Scout troop to get them involved, thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But really, I don't mean to be here blaming the city leadership. It's everybody. It's an everybody problem. It's an everybody solution.
Right.
But the city leadership does need to be at the forefront of this. And I strongly, strongly feel that if the staff time, the staff resources are all going, maybe not all going, but if that is the focus, is the development and expansion of the city, I think we need to take a real look at what is that going to bring us, and also look at what are the problems that we are currently facing, because I don't think it's a lack of businesses. I don't think it's a lack of homes. I think it's a lack of respect in our city, a lack of pride, and it is the next generation. If they do not see us making a city-wide effort to take care of what we have, people talk about this throwaway, society, right? That's what I'm seeing in downtown. I'm seeing, we're talking about putting new businesses, all over, new homes all over. But what about the downtown that already exists? That is the history of our city. The heart of our city is decaying. And I say that, and it sounds really harsh, but that is.
Let's change it. All right.
It's decaying.
There you
And
go.
so, and kids are seeing this, and it has to be a holistic approach.
Yeah.
Kevin, we got your point, buddy. Okay.
Thank you,
we will-
Kevin.
We will talk to you more.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right, thank you very much. All right, is there anybody else that signed in? Okay. So, are we ready for a reading of the consent agenda?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Could we please have a reading of the consent agenda?
Consent agenda. Vouchers numbered 10917 through 11040 in the amount of $320,919.79. Payroll warrants numbered 1585 through 1723 and 10893 through 10916 in the amount of $629,026.86. Commission meeting minutes from study session of January 11th, 2016. Strategic Plan and 2016 Work Plan. Basin 3 Department of Commerce Direct Appropriation Grant. Authorize the mayor to sign and the city administrator to make any necessary budget modifications.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as read.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second that.
There's a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The consent agenda passes. It's not a long meeting tonight, but we're getting close to having a report here by our police chief. And are we ready to go on that? All right, please come forward and state your name for the record.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'm Darren Moody, the police chief here in Shelton. We have a couple recognitions we'd like to give out tonight for folks and their work. I said when I got here I inherited a good group of folks, and this is more of recognition of that. Just behind that, I'd like to also say that we had our first successful neighborhood watch meeting Friday night over at James and 8th. Packed house, packed neighborhood. They're interested in the neighborhood watch. So if anybody's interested in neighborhood watch, give me a call and we'll set it up for you. First of all, I'd like to recognize 3 employees of the police department, well, 2 employees and a volunteer. Let me give the first one up because he is on duty, so if he gets a call, he's got to run. Mark Hinton, can you come up? Our 2015 Police Officer of the Year is Mark Hinton. You stand out here. There you go. Mark has been with the city of Shelton since 2006, and prior to working for Shelton, he worked for the Montesano Police Department as a canine officer. He's a U.S. Army vet. His last assignment was infantry squad leader at Fort Lewis. During his time at the Shelton Police Department, Mark has held assignments in patrol, regional driving instructor for law enforcement officers in the region. He's also been very passionate about DUI enforcement and has participated in numerous DUI enforcement efforts throughout the region. In 2015, Mark had 3 citizen commendations regarding his quality customer service and patience. The commendations all mention his level of patience in dealing with difficult situations and his empathy towards citizens. One of the commendations was most telling when I got it. It said, Mark's, Officer Hinton always gives me a darn ticket, but he does so with kindness and class.
Well,
When somebody can thank the police chief for somebody giving them a ticket, it's a good day. So I'd like to congratulate Mark Hinton as the 2015 Police Officer of the Year. That's yours. Sarah. Oh, by the way, I don't know if this is out of place at a commission meeting, but it is Sarah's birthday today.
Oh,
So I didn't know if we wanted to sing happy birthday to her before we did.
oh.
I made you red. Sarah started with the city of Shelton in 1996. She splits her duties as a records clerk, property and evidence clerk, department photographer, and historian, as well as the face of the front desk at the Shelton Police Department with her partner. Sarah also is one of the leaders of the city in the Shelton Wellness Committee. She has been given an increasing workload since I got here, often outside of her normal duties. She has stepped up and done a tremendous job throughout many changes in the last year. She also produced a 2014 annual report and is working on our 2015 report as well. Her customer service and positive attitude are noticed by all. Our Employee of the Year, Sarah Childress. You bet. There you go. And Reserve Officer of the Year, Charles Taylor. Charles graduated the Police Officer Academy in 2015, a reserve academy here, and was chosen by his peers as the best patrol partner. Once he graduated, he immediately began volunteering time throughout the community as a reserve officer. Between his time as a small business owner, part-time employee with the coroner's office, and being a husband and father, he was able to work more volunteer hours than any other reserve. He does not only spend time at community events, but within the schools and on patrol. His can-do attitude, excellent customer service, and professionalism shine through. Our Reserve Officer of the Year, Charles Taylor. There you go. And before I leave, I just wanted to say one other thing. It was hit by a commissioner when I walked in the door. There's some stuff on social media about our officers in a basketball game with some kids. Warren Olson is the officer that was there, so I'd like to give him kudos tonight.
Thank you, Warren.
Thank you, Chief Moody. There is no old business tonight, there's no new business tonight, but the administrator might have a report or something to tell us.
No report tonight, Your Honor.
Okay, so this is a general public comment. If anybody really has to say something else, now would be that opportunity, and you'd have to come forward fairly quick and sign in. I don't see that rush going that way, not that that's bad. And so I think if there's any administration final touches. Yeah, Lisa, you can come up if you want. Go ahead. You're already signed in.
Remember, you were saying that you weren't certain if either of these projects, business projects, were going to go through or not. So, as an alternative, I was
What project are you talking?
the marijuana.
Okay.
and-
Don't, nothing's guaranteed in
Right,
life,
yeah, nothing.
okay.
Those two projects that you were talking about. Was wondering if there's a place in Shelton that could do an inside water world like Wisconsin, the Lutheran Church. They have tours from the church to go to Wisconsin, and I didn't know if you guys could go there and see, do we have a big piece, enough land to make that possible for
I want it.
attraction for tourism?
You got me. I mean, if someone wants to do that, I'm all for it. I go in head first. So thanks for the idea. We'll think about that. All right, any final touches?
Touches? No touches,
No
Your Honor.
touches. All right, our next meeting will be, when our next meeting is, because I don't see an actual date on my little notes. But I'm imagining it's next Monday in the afternoon at 2 p.m. This meeting is adjourned.
22nd.
22nd.